Hey everybody, Chad Calek here, and welcome back to the In a Crowded Room podcast for a long overdue episode. I apologize for just now posting a new episode. There's been a lot going on here. As many of you know, or if you haven't heard, we recently signed a deal for worldwide distribution with our new partners, Gravitas, in which we have 5 films coming out, including Sir No Face, Two Face, and Phantom Rider, in which I've been working my butt off to get all of those films ready to be distributed in multiple formats throughout the world. It's just a lot of work, and at the same time dealing with the world right now, which it's not been fun here in Los Angeles. LA is really messed up right now, which we'll talk about that more. To those of you that have sent me messages asking me if I'm okay, obviously dealing with the loss of my father, it was really sweet of all of you to check in, and I appreciate that so much. We'll talk about that a little bit too. I wanted to do a Q&A episode to come back just because there's so much going on, and there are so many questions that you guys have sent me since our last episode. So let's just jump right into it. And the first question is from Gladys from Flint, Michigan. And she wants to know if I still think there is a fake alien invasion coming. Well, here's the thing, Gladys. Look, I can't be completely sold on it until it happens. But given the investigation that I've been working on with Craig, and the bizarre things that I have experienced, and given the predictions made by Daniel David Skyfall, which just blow my mind, and the recent predictions that have been made, it's hard not to feel as though it's a possibility. Let's start way back in December 18th of 2018. All of a sudden we hear about Tom DeLonge is suddenly surrounded by all these military guys, and they do a press release saying they're going to build a time machine, and they're releasing government UFO footage. Then it's announced they're going to have their own TV show. Then the footage comes out. The press goes crazy over it. Then the pilots come out and speak to the press, and it starts out first with just Commander Fravor, one guy saying he had one encounter and that's it. And then suddenly we hear about these other encounters on the East Coast, and then suddenly 5 pilots step up. And then after 5 pilots step up and say we all had encounters, they say we had them every day. And the New York Times reports this. And then right after that, the Navy steps up and says, okay, now there's a new protocol for reporting UFOs because there have been so many sightings. And all this is going on with the approval of Trump. I mean, he's the commander-in-chief, and these are military men giving these stories. So this is clearly known and discussed behind the scenes that they're rolling this out. And then, it just continues. Trump does an interview where he initially, right when he got elected, he initially said, I'm not really much of a believer, but yeah, there's some guys that believe they've seen things. And then his next interview, he's even kind of more jazzed up about it and says, yeah, we've had several meetings, and it's really interesting because, guys that would know otherwise are saying that there's something out there. And then recently he has an interview with his son where his son asks him about Roswell, and he plays very coy and says, Roswell is a very interesting place. That's what I can tell you right now. There's some very strange things about it, Roswell. But I'll have to think about it before, whether I'm going to release it or not. And then there's this announcement that the Pentagon just came forward to say that, yes, we do have a secret, team working on UFO sightings. And then they announced, the bombshell announcement, which is, we're going to be sharing, our findings with the public, but we have retrieved an off-world vehicle not made on Earth. This was a news story, guys. The Pentagon said this. They have an off-world vehicle not made on Earth. I mean, these are mega mega announcements to be making. They also, for the second and third time, said, yes, these videos are ours. They said more videos are to come. It's just been coming out of the government like crazy. I mean, the CIA, their Twitter, they were tweeting out to people that they should be studying UFO cases and look up their memorandum on how to report them. I mean, it's like, why is the CIA telling the public to study UFO cases? These things aren't accidental. What's really interesting is when you start crossing the military announcements with the scientific announcements. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but in October of 2018, NASA came out freaking out and announced that an object they had named Oumuamua was the first interstellar object ever tracked that came through our solar system. It came buzzing right by us, made a hard angle, slowed down, then went around the sun and sped up and just flew right out of the Milky Way. And this was like a big, big deal where there were a lot of people saying, listen, we think this is alien technology because of the way it flew, that it changed its speed, it changed its angles, it clearly appeared to be under its own control. And then just recently it was announced that they caught another one. And this one was even bigger and was emitting gases and again was under its own control apparently. But the biggest announcement was NASA announced that they had found a galaxy and traced it to the planet that is sending us radio signals every 16 days. I'm not kidding. Google this, guys. NASA is saying we are getting radio signals and we know where it's coming from every 16 days. So think about some of these announcements. Pilots are being tracked on a daily basis and followed to the Middle East. Oh, by the way, we have a spaceship. Off-world vehicle, not made on this Earth, we have that. Oh, by the way, there's a planet in a galaxy that's 500 million light years away. We know where it's at. It's sending us radio signals every 16 days. I mean, these are like massive announcements. I mean, don't you remember when to even bring anything up at all on the air was like reason for ridicule and people were just called retards and like every other bad, horrible name you can call somebody for believing in this? But yet all this is going on. So, what I am convinced of is that Skyfall, Daniel David Skyfall, is definitely a part of something. He's a part of some unacknowledged group that is tied into a bigger machine that's pulling the strings on all this, because he's predicting things a year out that are happening with incredible accuracy. Remember, long before Trump got impeached, he said he would be impeached. He said that it wouldn't stick, that he would be fine. He said that Trump has been chosen as the president that will be the one to say, citizens of the world, we have made contact. He said this will happen in his second term. He said, don't think for a second that Trump isn't going to win a second term. It's already been decided by those who decide these things. So he's just been deadly accurate with every single thing that he has predicted to this point. And it's mind-blowing to me. So when I look at, the conspiracy theory of a fake alien invasion coming, seeing the layout of everything and how it's all happened, it makes me believe there's a definite possibility for that. And to be honest, I was just talking to Laura, what conspiracy theories aren't true? Like, they're all coming, like, I heard about Jeffrey Epstein 10 years ago. 10 years ago I heard about it. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, come on, there's a billionaire dude flying around with Bill Clinton on a plane called the Lolita Express to some island with underage girl. You find out, oh yeah, it's true. It's all true. It all happened. And then JFK, I wrote my college thesis on that. It's like, oh, come on, it was only Oswald. Anybody who thinks anything different is crazy, right? That's what we all heard. Then you find out once all the declassified documents come out and, a few people get on their deathbed and you hear the truth. It's like, oh yeah, the conspiracy was completely true. It was exactly what people thought. It's exactly what the Zapruder footage showed. There were multiple shooters and it was a total conspiracy. 9/11, people right away going, come on, man, 9/11, come on, that was a conspiracy? And you dig into that, there's no question that was a conspiracy. that was real. So, my point is, I mean, outside of like Bigfoot, every other conspiracy I've ever heard of is coming true, which kind of takes me back to another conspiracy, December 21st, 2012. If you look at the Mayan calendar, that wasn't the end of the earth. That was the end of what they call a cycle. And what it marked was the beginning of a new age. And it was called the Golden Age of discovery. So is that what's going on right now? Are we in a time of discovery where we're seeing the truth in humanity, when we're seeing the truth of our society and the truth of how things really are? Because all of these, quote, conspiracies are coming true, I basically stop when it comes to the flat earth, man. I believe the world is round. But outside of that, it's just like, man, most of them, they're definitely rooted in something, So when I look at the fake alien invasion concept, it just seems highly likely that will happen in some degree, and I don't know what that degree is. Will it be, Project Bluebeam and fake gray aliens on conveyor belts from Australia? Well, I know this. On the Cernoface footage, Cernoface is there. There's something there that's not human. There's an entity on film that was there. And it did not make sound. It was about 4 feet tall. And it looks just like a freaking alien. And, things were happening on that island that don't make any sense. Lights flashing and people losing track of time. And there was just so much that is verifiable on that island. Something happened. And it was either a ghost or, yes, it was an alien gray or as Dr. Greer suggests, potentially a created gray, a drone gray, a robot gray. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but some things on that film, can't deny that. Craig filmed something very real. So do I think it's possible? Sure. But until I actually see it happening in my eyes, until I watch the fake, UFOs in the sky, it's going to be hard for me to say for 100%. But yeah, I definitely lend a lot of credit, especially given all the shit that Craig and I have gone through. And it's still going on. I'm still documenting all of it. There's still part 4, Pale Faces, left. We're not done. There's one more. So keep that in mind. Gladys, thank you for the question. I sincerely appreciate it. Bella from Montreal wants to know if I think aliens are real and whether or not I believe they have visited us yet. This question kind of goes with the first one. Bella, yes, I do think they're real. I think the size of the universe would make that a pretty obvious thing. I don't understand how someone could think we're alone. I don't. But to each their own. I'm not saying that's wrong. To me, I have an innate belief that we're not alone. And not only that, I do think aliens have visited us, to be honest. I think they're among us right now. And if we really want to get into it in a different podcast episode, I think we are them. Either they created us or we are a version of them and they are us from the future. I definitely think that yeah, I'm a big believer in the tale of the Anunnaki. I'm a big believer of Zecharia Sitchin. I do believe that there was definitely some things that we should be looking at with the Anunnaki because it seems to answer a lot of questions. And I think all you have to do to know that they have been here before, they meaning aliens, and that they're watching us now, go to Egypt, man. The answers are all in the magic of the construction of everything there in Egypt and how it spread around the world. There is a lost technology there that is beyond anything we can even comprehend today. And I think that says, a lot. Enough for me to believe that there is some, at some point there was something much smarter than us that came from the sky. And I think that's well documented throughout different cultures around the world that came from the sky. And it looked like spacemen. They're everywhere. They're in all the paintings. They're everywhere. So, yes, I do believe they're real. I do believe they are amongst those. So, thank you, Bella. Tamara wants to know if I think Trump will reveal classified UFO info before his term is up. I think he would if it could benefit him. If it was just a benefit to the public, I don't think he would reveal it. It's too good of a card to play somewhere. It's just knowing Trump's personality, he would like to walk around being the guy with the info. So I'm just basing that off of what I see and his personality. So no, I don't think he would share that with us. But thank you for the question. James from Nashville, Tennessee wants to know if I'm voting for Trump or Biden. Well, I know you're not supposed to ever talk about politics, right? Because politics are like religion. They're just very, very important and unique. But I have no problem openly speaking about my political thoughts or views. To be honest, here's the thing about Trump. There are things about him that I love. For one, the dude has just coconut-sized balls. I mean, he is just, man, he fights hard for the stuff that he wants. And he is just, kick ass in that way. Like, I see that people love that about him. He obviously has a sense of humor that's very funny. He loves poking the bear. But I have so many disagreements with him. Like, I obviously believe that the world's in trouble when it comes to warming and climate change. I wish he wasn't as divisive as he is. I think we're already paying for it. But listen, I get it. I see why people like him, and a lot of things he says are true. Does the media, are they completely full of shit when they go after him? Sure. It doesn't matter what he does. They're going to spin it to make him horrible. And it's kind of weird because he does do a lot of things that are horrible too. So he doesn't make it any easier on himself. But yeah, the media, so I can't even watch left-leaning media because I know, just like watching Fox, I'm not going to get the truth, It's just so hard to find the truth. So there are things about Trump that I really like, and there are things about him that he just doesn't jive well with me. He reminds me of like the worst in Hollywood, just guys that are so into their own image and their own, just everything is about them. And I'm just not a believer that you should, basically sing your own praises 24/7, and he does it a lot. I wish he didn't, It would be hard for me to vote for Trump, just because of the personality and my differences in just my character and his. But I can tell you this, it would be as equally as hard for me to vote for Biden, knowing that he's not well. He has that I'm about to die look in his eyes. He's clearly has some cognitive issues. I'm not a huge Kamala fan. So I don't know. So when it comes down to who am I going to vote for, I don't know because, God, the Republicans they're just legion, man. They have each other's back. They are hardcore. I just wish I could get on board with what, they stand for. And not all of it. Obviously, there's the aspects of, each party that I like. But the Democrats just seem crazy half the time, man. And they just seem so weak to me at times. And I hate the two-party system, So my answer is I honestly don't know. And I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an American, Like, I care about my life and my neighbor's life. I care about my brother and sister's life. I care about the world, So whoever has the best plan for that is going to get my vote. And right now, I don't know who that is, because I think Trump is playing for his agenda and a party line, and I think the Democrats are just playing to win. And I think they're doing it the wrong way. There's nothing inspiring about Biden. I'm not inspired at all. There's nothing inspiring about Kamala to me beyond the fact that, she's a woman. But to me, that's not an automatic. You don't just get a vote because you're a woman. I'm not sexist, so I don't look at things that way. I just look at the person and say, Do they inspire me? Are they worthy? So, I don't know. I don't know who to vote for. But look, man, I will say this. It's going to get crazy, guys. The world is in a bad place right now. And there's a very good chance that civil unrest could break out in ways that we have never seen before, man. And guys, look, I live in LA, and this place, it's so fucked up. And it's crazy because I get worked up about it just because when I moved here, the first time I visited Los Angeles, I came out here. I'm gonna light a cigarette for this, guys. God, I get fucking so worked up about this shit. The first time I came out here, I spent the night at the Cadillac Hotel right on Venice Beach on my last day here. And I woke up, and the Cadillac is this old stucco hotel just right on the sand. And I remember waking up and looking out and seeing the Palisades, the Santa Monica Mountains, Malibu. And I fucking cried, grown man crying because I did not want to go back to Iowa. It was just the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. And the energy of everybody was so awesome. And how could it not be? I mean, it's so beautiful out here. The weather is amazing. And there's so much life going on. Music, sports, festivals, restaurants, outdoor life in general, beach life. Like, there's just so many possibilities and so much excitement. Like, your life could change in a day. And, and now I drive downtown, and guys, if you saw fucking Skid Row and the homeless, oh man, it's bad. These people are suffering, man. They're suffering hard. And now, people are losing their businesses that they've had for like 30 years, man. And they're losing them. I mean, every day a new place that I would go to is gone. People are just pissed. Laura the other night goes to the corner store and comes running back home because a massive fist fight broke out because a guy didn't want to wear his mask and another guy was worried about getting sick, and words were exchanged, and it just went up. I've seen this happen in Vaughn's grocery store. And I was driving to meet a friend to actually give him a couple of DVDs he wanted to borrow. And on my way there, there's like 6 different groups that are protesting. And I don't know that half of them even know why they're out there, man. I mean, protesters just everywhere and every night. And the news isn't covering it right now, but it's happening every night. There's looting still every night. There's gunshots and people being shot and killed every night. Like, you can't go outside and walk around unless you have a mask on, or they'll fine you $1,000. And people are over that. They're just over it. It's just, yeah. And now the fires, like, these fires are no joke. No joke. Like, today the sky was orange all day long. I mean, this is the heat from it, the smell, like, it's just like a fucking apocalypse, man. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, we lose power all the time. These roaming blackouts are happening constantly. People are scared. People are out of money. Like, this is the reason it just gets emotional, because this is the opposite of what I found, when I first came out here. So, I'm going to vote for whoever can change this, and fix this, because it's not just here. It's like I turn on the news and I'm watching us at war with us. Like, did you ever think you would see some, like, war in America? It's like our enemies don't gotta, go to war against us. We're doing it. People in Chicago and Portland. Like, I'm just sitting here just going, this is America? Like, we're killing each other? What the fuck? So the next next couple months, and be honest, it's going to get crazy, guys. So I just hope we all remember the fundamental basics, man. Before we're white or black or Republican or Democrat, we all got red blood, man. We're human beings. We got to take care of each other. Because this shit is sad out here, man. It's really sad. So that's who would get my vote. Who could fix this shit, you know? Thank you for the question, James. Cassie from San Francisco wants to know if I think, and if I've heard the conspiracy that after the election, the Rona will just suddenly disappear. I have heard that conspiracy. I don't think that's going to be the case unless it's a worldwide conspiracy, because it's, all over the world. But I think right now people, I think Trump has a lot of people convinced that there's a conspiracy to rig the election, which, if the Democrats, were more driven, maybe I would believe that. But I don't know that they're that driven. I don't know. No, I don't think. Again, people around the world are getting ill. So I don't think it's. I don't think it's the Rona. I'm saying Rona because if you say the other words, they'll demonetize you. But I don't think that conspiracy theory is real for that reason, because it's impacting the globe. But are the Democrats trying to use it against Trump? Sure. And are they unfairly trying to do it? Yes and no. When you're the president, you got to take responsibility for something. But are they being unfair with their criticism, considering it's never happened before? Sure. Yeah. So, but to the question of, do I think it'll suddenly disappear after November 4th? No, I don't, unfortunately. I almost wish that it would. So, thank you, Cassie. Susan from Atlanta wants to know if I have any more events that I believe to be my father contacting me from the other side. I do not. Besides the one that happened in Omaha, and that was very powerful for me. But I have not had any other things happen that I feel as though my father is contacting me. And that's okay. The one I know was real, and it was enough to let me know that he's okay. And, I just miss him, and I just need time. That's all it is. I just need time, and like I said, I'm not special. We all lose people we care about. We all got to deal with it. So that's all just going on. But I do appreciate you asking. So thank you very much, Susan. Sam from Kansas City wants to know if I'm still dealing with bouts of depression due to my father's passing. I kind of addressed that a second ago. Yes and no. Not to the point that I'm, bedridden. But I definitely have moments where I think I'm okay and I just lose it, man. But then I put myself back together and soldier on as he would want me to. So I really appreciate you asking. But I'm doing well. I think I'm, as the Posies would say, coming right along. So I think I'm coming right along. So Linda from Houston wants to know if I'm concerned with social unrest. I kind of addressed that earlier, but yeah, of course. That's, it's funny, guys. I said this like 5 months ago. If you go back and listen to the first podcast after we had our stay-at-home order, I said My biggest scare with all this is not anything, at a hospital or the fact that people were getting. My biggest scare was civil unrest, and things are just a tinderbox right now. I mean, things can explode real fast right now. This is definitely the calm before the storm. Yes, I'm very concerned about it, and I have my exit plan. Laura and I have already mapped out what we're going to do if we got to get out of town quickly. And I think if you're out there, and you live in a major city too, or you think, even in a smaller city, if you think this can happen, don't get caught with your pants down, man. You know what I mean? If this all goes sideways, have a plan. Have a plan. I can't stress that enough to everybody. Figure out what you're going to do, because this is going to get ugly. I really believe that, guys. I believe we're coming up on something that is going to probably be unlike anything we've ever experienced in our life before. It's already happening in very, small, we've had small tastes of it. And I think it's going to go to a real bad place here, regardless of who wins. Whether it's Trump or Biden, I think either way, there's going to be blood. I really think so. I hate that I feel that way, but I do. But thank you for asking, Melinda. Okay, Kelly from Lisburn, Ireland wants to know if I have any plans to come to Ireland and if I'm excited for my new films to be released. I want to get back to Ireland big time. I've been there once. It was right after I shot A Blood Red Sky, and I was there for 3 days, and I want to get back there for at least a week. I want to tour there as well. I hope to be back in the next year, so hang tight. And I'm extremely excited to finally get Craig's Story out there to the world, to get A Blood Red Sky out there to the world, and to get American Ghost Hunter released into new markets, new foreign markets that it's never been to before. So yes, I'm very, very excited. Okay, I've received a ton of questions about Paranormal State, and this is what I think I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to do an episode coming up that I'm just going to dedicate the whole thing to Paranormal State and go through every question you have, all the ones about the show, and then all the behind-the-scenes stuff that everybody wants to know, because there's not a day that goes by that I still don't get questions about my relationship with Ryan and kind of when things went south with Paranormal State. And, I have so much that, obviously I could say about all this stuff, but I've always tried to just kind of, let history be history. But it's just becoming obvious to me that I just need to do an episode and just one time answer all of your questions from start to finish, and then so we can move on. And if I do that, I will always have that episode to point to. So when people email me in the future with questions of Paranormal State, I can point to that podcast episode and say, hey, it's all right there. Go right there and listen to it. So that's going to come soon, just so you guys know, to everybody that sent me the Paranormal State questions. Very soon I'm going to do a Paranormal State podcast episode, start to finish, about the whole experience. Mike from Minneapolis wants to know if I have more music coming out soon. Actually, I have been writing pretty heavily over the last several months. So hopefully in the next year. But yes, there will be new music coming soon. Having said that, thank you all for your questions. I have some announcements for you that will also answer some of your additional questions. The announcements will. So let's get into that right now. In regard to the release dates, Two-Face the Grey will be coming out worldwide on October 10th, and Phantom Rider will be coming out worldwide on November 27th, which I am really stoked about. Now, having said that, with the DVD orders, I am still waiting on our DVD company to open up. We are still under a stay-at-home order in Los Angeles. Companies that are non-essential are still shut down. But we're hearing that order may be lifted in the next week or so. If that's the case, then I can get our order of DVDs for Phantom Rider sent out. If you've pre-ordered your DVD, it's definitely coming. I've already paid for the order. Unfortunately, our DVD manufacturer has been shut down since March 15th, all of but a total of 9 days. That's how bad things have been out here in LA. That's why this place is going to blow soon, man. It is just going to explode unless they figure something out. But I've talked to him several times. He's just got to run the order. As soon as they're open, we can get those out. They will be coming, and I will let you guys know the second that I know, which, again, should be very soon. To answer everybody's questions about the lifetime memberships, absolutely, those stand. You will receive an autographed DVD from me with every film that I release for my lifetime DVD subscribers. You'll also, for those of you that are lifetime Vimeo subscribers, you will also receive a free lifetime password for every film that I release, regardless of this deal. So I know a lot of you had questions about that. Of course, we would hold true to that, and I'm super excited about that as well, because the DVDs that you pre-ordered are also the extended version of the film, of both films, which is awesome. 74 minutes, October 31st. That is the release date that I have set. That will be released again momentarily for a short window from us before we do the deal for that film with Gravitas as well. So just like the other films, you'll have a short window where you can see it. For those of you that already pre-ordered, it will absolutely be coming to you before the release date of October 31st, a couple days before. So hang tight with us. That should work fine as far as where I'm at with the film, the progress to finish it. Everything in the world has been working against me, having a standard editing time, starting with the fact that Laura has to work at home. So during the day, I don't have those hours anymore to edit because she's teaching and she has to. And I can't kick her out of the house and tell her not to teach. So that means I have to edit late at night. But thank God I'm back to cutting it. It looks amazing. I cannot wait for you guys to see. I guarantee you this, it's one of the spookiest things I've ever done. If you love, paranormal evidence, this is definitely a popcorn and get your favorite binky, shut off the lights and get ready because it's spooky as can be. And I don't know how anybody could watch 74 minutes and get to the end and not think, at the very least, I need to go something because this shit is real. Because it is, and the evidence is overwhelming in it. So I am so excited to finish that film up finally and to get it out to you. And like I said, the release date, October 31st, so just hang tight with me. 6 weeks away, so not too much longer. I also want to let everybody know that I am getting pretty far with my book. I've been writing a book for a while, and it's called You Can Never Go Home Again Once You Leave. And I will have news on that in the coming months as well, but I just want to let everybody know that I've actually made a lot of progress on it. And once I have something to share with you guys, I'll release a few pages for you. But that is something that I plan on releasing in 2021, is the book, which I think you guys will, you will truly enjoy it. I really do. It's something that I'm really proud of. So I'll keep you updated with that. And last but not least, there is going to be a morning podcast that I'm starting. That's going to be short and sweet, 15 to 20 minutes. It's going to be called In a Crowded Room's Morning Smoke. And it's just, when I wake up, I watch all my headlines on my news. And I always have thoughts and ideas about things. And I always want to share them with you guys, but I never do. So this is a way for me to just, right when I wake up, have my morning smoke, watch my news, collect my thoughts, and just basically, share with you guys what I'm thinking. It might be a little more politically based than some of the other stuff, but it's certainly not a political show. It could be just stuff about SpaceX and Mars. It could be stuff about anything, but it's just kind of what's on my mind in the morning. So that's coming. Be on the lookout for that. I'm glad to be back. I'm going to try to keep this up as much as I can and bring you as many podcast episodes in a row that I can. So thank you guys for your support. It means a lot to me to have such a break like I did, and that you still come back and check out the podcast episodes. And hopefully, I can just keep them going and get it going. A good 5 to 6 episodes a week. That's my goal. And then also to have at least 3 episodes in the Morning Smoke a week. If you guys have any thoughts and ideas of things you want me to talk about and you want me to share my thoughts on, obviously let me know. And having said that, thank you all once again for your time, energy, and excitement. I love you guys to death. I will be back tomorrow with more. All the best.